The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zekthor's mandibles clicked in disbelief. Across the crystalline table, Commander Sarah Chun maintained her composed expression, though a hint of amusement played at the corners of her mouth. "You cannot be serious," Zekthor hissed, his three eyes narrowing simultaneously. "Your species wishes to join the defensive coalition, yet you present us with this?" His appendage gestured dismissively at the holographic display showing Earth's military specifications. The other council members murmured in agreement. The VRYX delegation, tall and reptilian, shifted their scales in what passed for laughter among their kind. The crystalline ethons chimed their derision in harmonious notes that echoed through the chamber. Commander Chen leaned back in her seat, unfazed. "I understand your skepticism, Ambassador. Our numbers are modest compared to your standing armies. Our technology, while advancing, still lags behind most coalition members." She paused, her dark eyes scanning the assembled aliens. "But humanity brings something else to the table, something you've never encountered before." "And what might that be?" asked Counselor Vex, the Ethon representative, their voice like wind chimes in a storm. "Lethality," Chen replied simply. "Universal, democratized lethality." The chamber erupted in confused chittering and electronic pulses that served as alien laughter. Only General Thaxel of the Coalition Defense Force remained quiet, his battle-scarred carapace reflecting the chamber's lights. He had studied the human files more carefully than the others. Zekthor's amusement was palpable. "Commander, every species in this chamber has warriors. The VRYX have their shock troopers. The Ethons have their molecular disruptors. My own people have bred soldier castes for 10,000 cycles. What makes your species so special?" Chen smiled then, and something in that expression made General Thaxel shift uncomfortably in his seat. He had seen that look before, in the eyes of apex predators on death worlds across the galaxy. "Tell me, Ambassador," Chen began, her voice carrying easily through the vast chamber. "On your homeworld, who are your designated marksmen? Your snipers?" "Our warrior caste, naturally," Zekthor responded, confused by the question. "They train for decades to achieve the precision required for long-range elimination." "And the VRYX?" The reptilian delegate hissed proudly. "Our sacred order of Death Strikers. 1 in every million hatchlings shows the necessary neural wiring. They are treasures of our civilization." Chen nodded, pulling up her data pad. "The Ethons engineer their shooters at the molecular level. The Cthreen download centuries of combat algorithms into their cybernetic warriors." She looked up. "Every species here treats precision marksmen as rare specialists. Elite units. Sacred orders." She tapped her pad, and the holographic display shifted to show a rural landscape on Earth. Rolling hills, scattered trees, and a small house with a porch. "This is Millbrook, Pennsylvania. Population 1,247. Let me introduce you to Gracie Morrison." The image zoomed to show a young woman, perhaps 23, with her brown hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She wore casual clothing and was smiling at the camera, holding what appeared to be a primitive projectile weapon. Gracie works at her family's hardware store. She enjoys painting, plays guitar in a local band, and volunteers at an animal shelter on weekends. Chen's smile widened. Last autumn, she participated in her regional hunting season. From a distance of 450 meters, in moderate wind, she made a clean kill shot on a white-tailed deer. First shot. No spotter. No computer assistance. Just her, a rifle her grandfather gave her, and a lifetime of weekends practicing. The aliens stared at the image, uncomprehending. "I don't understand the relevance," Zekthor said flatly. "You're showing us a civilian who engages in primitive food gathering? I'm showing you that on Earth, millions of civilians can make precision shots that would qualify them as elite marksmen in any of your militaries." Chen pulled up more data. Emmanuel Rodriguez, age 19, engineering student from Texas, competes in long-range shooting sports. Regularly hits targets at 1,200 meters. His equipment costs less than a month's wages. More images flashed across the display. An elderly farmer. A teenage girl with competition medals. A teacher who ran a shooting club. "These aren't soldiers," Chen continued. "They're accountants and teachers and farmers and students." But nearly 40% of human households contain someone who trains regularly with precision weapons. Not because they have to, Not because they're part of a warrior caste or sacred order. Because it's recreational. General Thaxel spoke for the first time, his voice grave. How is this possible? The neural training alone should take years. The hand-eye coordination required. Humans are pursuit predators, General Chen explained. We evolved throwing rocks at prey from incredible distances. Our brains are hardwired for ballistic calculation in ways most species never developed. We can instinctively account for wind, distance, drop, and target movement. Then we invented guns, which made it even easier. She pulled up comparison data. The average human with 6 months of casual training can perform shots that take your elite snipers decades to master. A dedicated human civilian shooter surpasses the qualification standards of almost every military in the coalition. The chamber had gone deathly quiet. When you asked which human is our sniper, Chin said softly, I told you to pick any civilian. I meant it. That construction worker? Probably hunts elk on weekends. That college student? Likely grew up shooting with her father. That retiree? Competed in marksmanship for 40 years. Zekthor's mandibles trembled. You're saying your entire population, not every human shoots, no, Chin conceded. But enough do that we could field a force of precision marksmen larger than most coalition member species' entire populations. And that's just the hobbyists. She stood, placing her hands on the table. You want to know what humanity brings to the coalition? We bring a civilian population that's more lethal at range than your professional soldiers. We bring a culture that treats extreme precision violence as a weekend hobby. We bring a species that domesticated controlled lethality so thoroughly that children learn it as a rite of passage. Emmanuel Rodriguez appeared on screen next, demonstrating a shot at an extreme range competition. The round flew true, striking the target dead center. The crowd around him in the video barely reacted. It was expected. So yes, Ambassador Zekthor, Chun concluded, our military numbers are modest. Our fleet is small. But if you're wondering whether humanity can hold a defensive line, whether we can protect coalition territories, whether we can make invaders pay in blood for every meter of ground, she smiled that predator's smile again. Ask yourself, what chance does any invasion force have against a species where the civilian population doesn't miss? General Thaxel began drafting the approval for Earth's coalition membership before the session even adjourned. He had fought predators before. He had no desire to fight an entire planet of them.